Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and as you can see there, that is correct, yes, the engine is in bits again. Nothing too major, thankfully, and I'll show you guys just now, whilst I'm getting things ready, how we got to this point, and then I'll catch up with you in just a minute. Oh, that's a bit hot actually. So yeah, that's how we got to this point. Lots of bits everywhere. As you saw, I think it was probably just this nut on here that rounded off, and I got it kind of to like 58 foot-pounds. I just don't think it was torqued quite right, and that was probably what the reason for it was. Thankfully, the rest of the engine looks really good. As you saw, piston tops look really good. Valves still look really good. You know, really happy with... Oh, move out of the way out of that light so you can actually see. But yeah, really happy with the way it actually was, and to be honest, it's one of those things. Now that we've stripped it down, I'm kind of a little bit more happy about the whole setup anyway, because we've not done anything heavy on it. You know, it's kind of only just idled and been revved up and down. We've not put any load through it, but you know, reasonably happy with the situation. And I've done a few calculations, and I've made the decision I'm going to leave the decomp plate out when I put it all back together. It's ST170 block. It's a black top head, so with a 1.6mm gasket we shouldn't be too high on compression anyway. When I did the calculations beforehand with two 1.6mm gaskets and the 2mm decomp plate, I think we're down to like 7.5 to 1 compression ratio, so it was really low. I wasn't too worried about it because off boost it might be a bit lazy, but it would, you know, it would hopefully make for an easier driving car in the off boost areas. But basically I think I'm just going to put it back together with the ST170 bottom end, the head, and just the 1.6mm gasket. Most people use a 1.8mm gasket to get down. I think that gets you down to like 9.5. So, you know, what's that? 1.678.2mm of a difference. Can't see it making that much difference. And I know people have just run standard gaskets on there, which I think on these is a 1.3mm gasket. So I think we should be good, basically. I think we should be good, and it means that my tensioner and pulley and belt and everything won't be quite as tight, because that was really tight. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. What we're going to do this evening is bleed clutch, because I finally got hold of this little clip here that I've been waiting for. £8 I had to pay for that, which was sickening for this tiny little clip, but you know what you're going to do about it. And then I've got a throttle cable from Venhill. It's a universal dealio, so I've got all the bits and pieces to make it up, and you know, everything fit the pedal box, which is in there, which we fitted in the last video, or at least I think that was the last video. And all the back brakes, rear brakes are all now sorted, so we can get some fluid in them and get them bled out and working. Front brakes aren't quite ready yet. Still waiting on some machining to happen, and the hold up on that is purely my finances. You know, sell maybe a left kidney or something to pay for it, but I'm skint at the moment, so I haven't managed to get that sent out to the machine shop and done. But as and when, you know, as and when. It is now November. No, it's not. It's October. It is now October, and it is cold out. It's not freezing yet, but it's hoodie weather and cup of tea weather rather than shorts, vest, and a nice cold beer weather, as you can see. But basically, we've now got 5-6 months of winter before we start seeing that spring weather come round and the show season again. So now is as good a time as any to try and crack on and get on with it. Try and sort my finances out a little bit. So hopefully, I really hope next year will be the year that we get it out and we get to drive it and do some cool stuff with it. Make some more cool content for you guys. Just genuinely enjoy the car a bit more than wrenching on in the garage. Although, you know, that's kind of enjoyable anyway. But there you go. Up and coming. I've got a video going on with these set of wheels there. I've got some slot mags that were really ropey, and they're looking really quite good now. In fact, they're looking bloody amazing. When you, in the video that comes out, obviously you'll see how bad they were. If you follow me on Instagram, as always, you would have already seen that. But yeah, they were really ropey, and they're looking really good now. Not finished yet either. We've got a little bit of way to go on them, but I'm really happy with those. I am knocking out a cover for Mark II Steve's Escort, which is here, and I nearly had it all set the other day, and then all the filler that I put on there cracked, so that's kind of got to be rubbed back for the 90 millionth time. It's been a bit of a pain in the backside, that cover, but I am, and shout out to Steve, by the way, who's been very patient, because I've had it for about 5 months now, if I'm honest. If it was me, I probably would have lost my shit a long time ago, but he's a very patient and decent guy, and also his car's still, you know, having body work done, so he's not ready to put the engine in yet, thankfully. But that's happening, so that video will be out in a couple of weeks as well. Okay, right, so this here then, throttle cable kit, comes from Ben Hill. Universal cable kit. Basically it comes with everything you could need to fit it to like a motorcycle, to a car, to whatever, basically. And I kind of thought, with it being a Toyota throttle body, a one-off comp brake, well, I say one-off, it's not one-off, a non-standard comp brake pedal box, I kind of thought a full universal kit was the way to go. So we'll have a little look at what we've got here. I'm thinking that's going to be my best option to go on there, somewhere like that, because that's going to give me some adjustment in the cable. Might need to put a couple of washers on it or something, but I'm kind of thinking we're going to pop that on there like that. This end of the cable will then, this end that's made off here, I'm guessing we'll then kind of shove in there. Don't know how well that fits in there. Not very well. What about if we turn it around the other way? How does that set us up? You guys there, do this like this. So you're seeing this throttle cable kit just as much, just as much. You're seeing this throttle cable kit for the first time, as am I. If I'm honest with you, I've not had it out of the box until this evening. So I'm trying to work this out whilst you're there watching me mess it up. So, you know, fun and games. Right, trying all these little things here to find out what works best. I wonder if that goes. Oh, these are like little extension pieces for that. So I wonder if they fit on there a bit better than that. That's got like a beveled edge to it in there. I don't know if you can see that. So I don't think it's that way. That again has got a little beveled edge on it. What about this piece here? No, that's all got. So it's all got a beveled edge on it. Okay, so I kind of think we'll go with what I kind of planned in the first place, I think, and that is to shove that in there like that, and then put that in there like that, because that will then give us some throttle cable adjustment. And then the cable is here, so we've got to get the so one end of the cable is completely just sort of the end of a cable, and the other end's got this little thing on the end of it there. So I'm thinking what we need to do is find the right one of these little brass nipples that we've got here to fit my throttle body, which I'm guessing is probably going to be the largest one. So let's have a look. So basically it's got to fit in that hole there, which the largest one looks like it's a pretty decent fit. I'm now going to drop it. Am I going to drop it? I'm not going to drop it. There we go, got it. Right, so let's just pop you guys there for a second. Adjust the angle on the camera so you can see what we're doing. Right, so I'm going to poke that end through there like that and slide it all the way to the end like that. So that now fits on there like so. And the idea with this kit is once you're happy with it, this is brass, that's stainless, you put a little bit of flux in there and solder that on so it's soldered in tight. So that then goes, I don't know where the best is, put the camera so you guys can see. Like that maybe. So yeah, that then pops in there, and the rest of this guys, excuse me, I've got the cable in my mouth now, but this then goes down the end of our black sleeve that we just put on. Let's poke that all the way down. Ugh. Just like that. That will then pop into there, and I will solder this all up at the end, but obviously I want to make sure everything works and lines up before I do anything permanent. So that kind of goes around there. I did mess, I've just realised, I did mess this bit up the other day when I was trying to move throttle linkages and whatnot. So I kind of need to straighten that out. You see the cable doesn't quite go in there. So I need to sort that out in a second, but that kind of goes round through there, as you can see, or can't see. You see what you guys can see or not see at the moment. And then pops out the other end there. And that is our, oh, it already works, look at that. Right, so that's that end sorted. That's quite quick and easy, wasn't it, really? Just work around there and into there. So I've got to plug this through the bulkhead there to the pedal box, and then we're going to work out in there how that's going to work. But give me a second, because I need to get a light, because you guys ain't going to see nout down there at the moment. So let me get a light, poke that through the bulkhead, and see you in just a second. Right, you're going to have to bear with me for a second, ladies and gents, because my work lights are in my other car. They're not in my daily, which I brought with me. So I've got this little ring torch thing, which isn't the best, but we'll go with it anyway. Right, up there is the stock location for throttle cable pass through. So that's kind of what I've reutilized, that hole there. And you can see our cable poking through here. Now, obviously it's way too long, so we need to cut it down. But on the bottom of our throttle pedal here, you can see that little aluminium lug there is what moves backwards and forwards as we push the pedal in and out. And that's what I've got to attach the cable to. The only thing is, having looked in at this, there is no hole like I would expect to pass the cable through to hold it in place, just that big oval thing that you can see there. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna have to do is make up some sort of plate that goes on there that I can then drill a nice hole through, yay size, and then that will give me the ability to put that on the end of it and kind of wind it through and end it up nice and neat, so it holds the sheath in place and lets the cable move freely in and out, or at least that's the theory anyway. So bearing in mind that I've only got this crappy little torch and it's quite awkward to work down here like this, I'm going to get this done, and then I will pick up with you guys and we'll, you know, I'll show you how I've either succeeded or failed, basically. So, and I've still got a little bit of tea left that's going cold, so I'm going to drink that first before I end up with cold tea. Right, on we get. Okay, right, so I ended up taking the whole cable back out and putting it all back in, back the other way around, because it worked better feeding it from this side than it did that side. But this is what we've got. So obviously we come through the standard hole up there. I've used the standard sort of clip there that would have held some electrical cable at some point to hold it back to the wall, and then I ended up drilling a hole through, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, to be honest, but I ended up drilling a little hole in another hole in the box there, and it goes onto the clamp, and it kind of should work reasonably well. Again, not the best angle for you guys to see that, but you will see this side a bit better. So I've got the cable routed in, sits in there quite nicely, it's not too sort of in your face. Comes up through the adjuster. Obviously I've got it with no adjustment on at the moment, so we've got maximum adjustment once it's in place. And then I've got the nipple on the end there, which I just need to solder in. And this is probably not how you should treat your cam carriers, but I've got a set of mole grips on the side of that cam carrier holding the excess cable in place at the moment, just while I solder that up. Now I did start trying to heat it up with the soldering iron, but I don't think it's got the guts in it, so I am going to get out the old MAP gas. Well, this one's just propane actually. I don't think this one even is power gas 3000. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm going to heat that up. It's going to ruin the paint on the little thing there, but so be it. I'll touch it up afterwards and get that all soldered in, and then hopefully we will have a working throttle, which would be nice. And then probably what I'm going to do is leave it a little bit long on the backside, just there, and make up some sort of second fixing, just in case the solder joint snaps. Because that is my only concern with this kit, is that the solder joint may snap if I mash the throttle and it just doing straight out. But we'll see how that goes. Right, let's see what happens with this. Right, well, that got very hot very quickly and soldered very quickly, and I didn't think about it, but there's a little nylon bushing in there which got a little bit melted. I think it's all right, but we'll find out in a minute. I'm just going to let it solidly cool right the way down. The paint didn't actually flake off that bad, and it kind of lost its shine a bit, but meh. I don't know how well you can see, but it's soldered in there. I don't know how well it's taken, but I'm going to let it cool complete. Ah! That bit's still really hot. It's funny that, isn't it? Seeing as I've just burnt it with 2,240 degree gas. I'm going to let it cool right the way down before I take the clamp off any tension, just to give it the maximum chance. Got to be honest, kind of not feeling too confident, but we'll see. I am going to get a beer, I think. You know, we've had a warm tea. Let's have a cold beer, balance things out, and I will see you guys in just a second once that has cooled right the way down. Okay, right, nice and cold. I can touch it now without burning myself. Moment of truth. I kind of think I'm going to undo this. It's going to doing and snap, or we're going to be good. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, might be okay. Let's have a look. Oh, that's in there quite tight. Ooh. Ooh. We might have working throttle. Right, let me perch you guys. I'll perch you guys somewhere where you're going to be able to see this. How about that? Yeah, that kind of works. Right, I'm going to put my foot on the throttle and see what happens. Cue cable snap in 3, 2, 1. Kind of works. I say kind of works because even with all my throw on the pedal, it's not turning that throttle nearly even halfway. So we're going to need to rethink that little plan. Okay, well, the throttle should turn all that way. However, when I'm pulling the throttle, it's not. It's only kind of going to there, which is kind of not what we want. So I need to try and think about how I'm going to adjust this now, because that is all the throw I've got on the pedal. Kind of thinking if I move it up, it's going to be less throw, and it's kind of always on the bottom anyway. Further down, the longer the radius on the throw is, so it would pull the cable further to the same amount of degrees. But okay, I'm going to scratch my head on this one and see where I get to. I'm also not going to drink my beer because my beer got a little bit too cold and I've now got a beersicle. So I have to wait for that to thaw down. So all in all, it's not gone very well so far, is it? Right, see you in a minute.
2 hours later.
Okay, right, got a little bit ahead of myself before I updated you guys and then realised that I haven't updated you guys. Right, throttle cable is now in. Doesn't quite go the full throw. I've adjusted it as much as I can. It goes about 75% now, which I'll just show you guys. If you can see, basically it goes enough for the time being, and I will deal with the rest of it later on, because that's kind of just all that matters at the moment. The car's not going anywhere. I know the throttle cable's in, I know it kind of works, and that's that. The other thing that we've just done, and I say we because Dean is now down the garage, although he's just popped out for a minute, but we have got fluid in the clutch reservoir. Clutch line is all hooked up, all, you know, buggery doodery, as I showed you all in the last video. This little clip here, it cost me £8, is all in place and is working and not leaking. And if we go around to this side of the car, again, don't know how well you guys will see, it's quite dark, but I've got quite a nice feeling clutch pedal now, which is reassuring because beforehand, kind of the only thing we need to be able to drive this is brakes, a clutch and a gas pedal. We've now got a gas or accelerator pedal, depending on what part of the world you're from. We have now got an accelerator pedal, or I mean it only goes to 75%, but 75% of that is probably more than enough for the time being. Also, we have now got a clutch pedal. So the only thing we need now is a brake pedal. And I've got everything plumbed out, ready to go to be able to get the back brakes working. Front brakes, like I said, not quite there yet, but yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to crack on. I'm going to get the wheels off of the back. I've got to sort out this one here is leaking a little bit still, so I've got to sort that out. But we're going to get some fluid in the back wheels now, and I'll quickly show you whilst, if I can get out, whilst I'm here, the way that we have been doing it is with said syringe. Basically, close the syringe, put that on the rear brake nipple, pull a vacuum, pull some fluid through, and away we go. So yeah, that's where we're at. Jack it up, wheels off, bleed it through. See you guys in a minute. Okay, right, car is jacked up. We had a nice bit of petrol roll out of the open lines at the front there, and we panicked a little bit, but we're all good, we're fine. I've not been under the back half of this car, like this has not been jacked up since it was out there in the really early days. So we're talking... Since you put this together? Since we've done all the front ends, since the YouTube video channel has been a thing, you know, back in the days when the car was sitting out there and it was rotten and crappy, and it's still rotten and crappy, but I have not been under the back of this car since then. Since before. So I thought, seeing as I'm going under there, we might as well take you with us and see what we find, because it could be interesting. I mean, nothing looks too bad, thankfully, but let's climb under and see what we got. Obviously, we're on stands, and we are with a crappy little light as well, unfortunately. You know, Dean might be able to come and lend his iPhone light to us, maybe. So, apart from it looking a bit messy, it actually looks pretty good. All the bushings still kind of look okay. Obviously it's all rose joint, all my link bars and everything, so they kind of probably just need taking off and cleaning up. The rear brake lines don't look too sad. The copper brake lines leave a little bit to be desired. That was probably a younger me. Jesus, there's not a single P-clip on them. They're all loose. Look at that, like they're literally loose all the way around, apart from the one T-piece fitting in the middle there. We might have to put some P-clips in there, really. Look at all that, that's just completely, right, completely loose. Right, I'll put some P-clips in there, I've got some over there, that'll do. Apart from that though, obviously when I stripped all this and painted it and undersealed it, I mean, you guys can literally see bugger all really, but it looks pretty good, to be honest. It still looks really clean, there's no patches of rust. Quite happy with that. Just got to sort those lines out and actually hook them up in place with some P-clips. Apart from that, the rest of it looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Right, I'm going to put some P-clips on these lines and then we'll get back to what we were doing and start bleeding the rear brakes. See you in a minute. Right, car's jacked up, obviously. We are now starting to pull some fluid through. I just thought I'd show you like what I meant when I was talking about the syringe earlier. Basically just pulling the syringe up, negative pressure in the top end of the syringe is just sucking the fluid through. No messing, no pedal up, pedal down, pedal up, pedal down. And to be honest, some of the stuff's going through is quite nasty. I mean, what's in that bottle is filthy. Oh well, as you can see, it's coming through real milky and horrible in there. Right, well, it's been one of those videos, isn't it? We've not really done a lot, but like I say, it's been about 8 weeks since we've done one. 8 weeks? 9 weeks? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Been a long time. Anyway, clutch is now bled. Rear brakes are now bled. Although this one binds a little bit just about there. And this one over here binds on about 300 of the 360 degrees. So that'll be next week's job, stripping those hubs off, you know, adjusting all they're brand new shoes in there. They're really old shoes, but they are brand new.
Have little use.
They've probably seen about 50 miles, probably, if I'm honest. So I think it's just take them out, clean them up, make sure the adjusters are adjusted, and away we go. So I'm going to leave the car up on a stand, but before we finish this one off, I have made a new whiteboard with list on. Obviously beforehand we were using the bonnet, weren't we? But
yeah.
I made a new whiteboard with list because I had this laying around. Clutch line done. Ooh, tripping over. Carriers, pads, fluids, kind of a 50% done because we've done rear brakes. Charge cooler, still don't do the pump and the charge cooler lines. Bumper, I need to get a full bumper on so that we can remount the indicators in. Engine stuff we still need to do for the engine. We still need to do the cooling fan. We need to put a wastegate on it. We need to make a full exhaust rather than just the bonnet exit, because I'm not going to get that for an MOT. Rear stabilizer mount for the gearbox to stop it swinging around. Heat management, which is going to be a big one. Thermostat housing. Need to get a billet, one of those set up, or something set up for that, because what I've got's not working. Need to get a new alternator because I've broken the one. I actually broke the one that I brought to go in it, getting it out of the box. I might have got it out of the box, dropped it on the floor, and it never worked. So need to get another one of those. We need to put oil in the gearbox, and we need to do injectors. Obviously, to be able to put enough fuel in to match the horrendous amount of boost going in from our big Chinese Wuhan whirly boy down there. Interior, firewall for the rear we still need to do. We need to do driver's footrests, rear view mirror, lights. I'm going to put some LED strip tape around the roll cage and stuff so that at night we've got plenty of light in there if we need it. Filler necks in, but I need to put the Jubilees on. Don't know how we'll be able to see in here. Obviously the filler neck is in, but we've got no Jubilee clips on there, so it just is all loose at the moment, so we need to do that. And window vents. I want to place some swizzly twizzly window vents here, and probably something on the back here just to let the pressure out, because it's a polycarb window, and I don't want the pressure building up at 80-90 mile an hour on the motorway, and the 70 mile an hour on the motorway, UK speed limit, and the rear polycarb window decides to go for a journey down the road, because that wouldn't be good. So that's where we are with the interior stuff.
Just a thought.
Yeah, go on.
I want to throw it out there.
Go on.
We might be able to do something fancy with the interior lights.
Okay. Dean has an idea for the interior lights. I'll let him tell me that in a minute, and then, you know, it can be a bit of a surprise for you, can't it? The electrical stuff that still needs to be done. We need to do the knock sensor connections. We need to do the reverse switch on the gearbox. We need to do the brake light switch, which currently at the moment is just a piece of wire hooked between the two. So I need to work on that. In fact, I might have a little look at that scenario in a minute, because now the pedal box and everything's in, I can look at how I'm going to mount the switch. The speedo needs to be functional. It doesn't actually work at the moment. We've obviously got the sender in the gearbox, and it's all wired up. In fact, whilst all the gubbins is out the top, you'll be able to see really clearly down there. It is all wired up. It's got 5 volt in, ground out, and a signal, but for some reason it's not sending the signal back. So I need to work that out. Rev counter did work at one point, and now doesn't work, and I'm not sure whether it's an issue with the ECU or the way we rewired it. But whatever happens, it now doesn't work. The tacho works, obviously. You know, ECU's picking up RPM and running, but it's not putting a signal out to the dash. So we need to have a look at that. And then most importantly, we need some launch control and two-step so that we can be antisocial around Odeon car park at night. No, that's not happening. I'm not 18 anymore. But we still do need launch control and two-step. And then there's our last little bit, miscellaneous wipers on the front. You know, that kind of is important. Hood/bonnet, depending on what part of the world you come from. We need one of those. Rear wing lower. Now that's kind of an optional thing, but obviously because I've got this carbon molded Austrian top spoiler, kind of thought it might look quite nice if I got